Manufacturers are vital components of global supply chains, and their functional profiles significantly influence their financial outcomes and transfer pricing implications. In the context of intercompany transactions, three primary types of manufacturers emerge: contract manufacturers, toll manufacturers, and fully-fledged manufacturers. Each of these models has unique characteristics, responsibilities, and risks that require tailored transfer pricing policies to ensure compliance with tax regulations and align profits with the underlying functions and risks. Contract manufacturers operate under the direct control of a principal company. Their primary role is to produce goods based on the instructions provided by the principal, who supplies the raw materials and retains ownership of the finished products. The operations of a contract manufacturer are limited to routine production activities, with minimal exposure to market or inventory risks. For example, if production is delayed or there are quality issues, the operational risks are borne by the contract manufacturer. But broader market risks, such as price fluctuations or demand variability, remain with the principal. These manufacturers are typically remunerated on a cost-plus basis, ensuring a predictable return for their limited functional scope. A typical scenario might involve a European manufacturer producing automotive parts for a global company, following strict specifications and earning a predetermined markup regardless of market conditions. Toll manufacturers, on the other hand, act more like service providers. They process raw materials into finished goods, but do not assume ownership of the inventory at any stage of production. Toll manufacturers are engaged exclusively to perform specific manufacturing processes and are usually compensated with a fixed service fee. Compared to contract manufacturers, toll manufacturers have an even more restricted functional and risk profile, as they do not manage inventory or bear market risks. Their sole responsibility is to execute the production processes efficiently. For instance, a toll manufacturer in Asia assembling electronic devices for a global technology firm would only be responsible for the assembly itself, while the principal manages procurement, inventory, and market distribution. Toll manufacturers' compensation reflects their role as service providers rather than profit participants in the value chain. In contrast, fully-fledged manufacturers operate independently, managing the entire production and distribution process. Unlike contract and toll manufacturers, they procure raw materials, manage inventories, and take ownership of the finished products. Fully-fledged manufacturers often engage in additional activities, such as research and development or market penetration strategies. These manufacturers assume significant risks, including market risks, inventory risks, and financial risks, and are responsible for both the profits and losses arising from their operations. A pharmaceutical manufacturer, for example, might develop and produce patented drugs, bearing the risks of regulatory approvals, market acceptance, and potential recalls. The rewards for fully-fledged manufacturers correspond to their entrepreneurial role, as they retain the residual profits after compensating other value chain participants for their routine contributions. From a transfer pricing perspective, the functional profiles of these manufacturers must be carefully analyzed and documented. For contract and toll manufacturers, their limited exposure to risk justifies routine returns. Their profitability is typically benchmarked against comparable entities performing similar low-risk activities, ensuring that their compensation reflects their operational scope. Fully-fledged manufacturers, on the other hand, must justify retaining residual profits by demonstrating their assumption of entrepreneurial risks and the value they add to the supply chain. This involves a more detailed analysis of their functions, assets, and risks. particularly where intangible assets like intellectual property or market strategies are involved. A critical issue in transfer pricing compliance is ensuring that profit allocation aligns with risk allocation. Since contract and toll manufacturers do not bear significant risks, they should not retain substantial profits. Fully fledged manufacturers, by contrast, justify their higher rewards through their broader responsibilities and risk profiles. For multinational enterprises, accurately documenting these distinctions in intercompany agreements and financial records is essential to withstand scrutiny from tax authorities. Regulatory changes and economic pressures are also influencing the roles of manufacturers. The OECD's base erosion and profit-shifting initiatives, for example, emphasize the alignment of profits with value creation. This has increased scrutiny of low-risk manufacturers like contract and toll models, ensuring their functions and risks are accurately reflected in their compensation. Additionally, the integration of digital technologies in manufacturing, such as AI and IoT, is reshaping traditional models, potentially requiring revisions to functional profiles to account for technological contributions. Economic volatility, trade tensions, and supply chain disruptions are further complicating the landscape. Fully fledged manufacturers, in particular, must navigate these challenges while managing their broader responsibilities. For contract and toll manufacturers, these pressures may lead to renegotiations of service agreements or changes in operational structures to optimize efficiency and risk management. In conclusion, the functional profiles of contract manufacturers, toll manufacturers, and fully fledged manufacturers represent distinct approaches to production, each with its own implications for risk, reward, and transfer pricing policies. Contract and toll manufacturers represent low-risk models focused on routine production and services, while fully fledged manufacturers assume entrepreneurial roles with greater risks and rewards. For multinational enterprises, understanding and documenting these distinctions is vital to ensuring compliance with tax regulations, optimizing value chain efficiency, and adapting to evolving economic and regulatory environments.